Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today I'm in Chickamauga, Georgia, and we're going to do a lens review. Chickamauga is a very historic town. It was pretty key battle in the Civil War. It's kind of the Union and the Confederates met right over there in the National Historic Park battlefield, you may as well say, and had one of the bloodiest battles of the war here. I'm gonna shoot some photos with this 135mm f2.8 Pre Ai Nikkor lens I picked up recently, and just give it a good once over, you might say, and do a review on it. But to give you some specs on the lens up front, it's f2.8 to f22 in whole stops. The aperture ring is positive and free flowing. You can move it with one finger easily. Let that diesel go by. It has zone focus marks on the lens barrel at f22, f16, and f8, so that you can get zone focus, which honestly, until you get to, if you set infinity at f22, it's like 50 feet to infinity is in focus, so it's still way out there to get everything in focus from infinity back. You know, it's just, these big telephoto lenses are so tight that you really can't get a wide zone of focus. So, you know, if you set it for f8, it's like 3.5 to 4 feet. You know, if I pull this around, set it to 7, it's like 6 to 7 feet in focus, you know, at f8. So if you shoot at f2.8, it's super shallow depth of field. But with the Z6 and the manual focus assist functions that are built into it, I should be able to get some really nice photos with it. The lens barrel is about 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 inches in diameter. It's real heavy duty. This lens is a Pre Ai, which means there's no cutout right here for the aperture failer on Nikon DSLRs. So cameras made after like 1978 or somewhere in that neighborhood, when they go to the ones with the AIS configuration, those camera bodies, this lens won't fit properly. Sometimes it'll even damage the camera. So with me running this adapter on this Z6, it doesn't interfere with it, so it doesn't care. So I can run this lens just fine. But if I was to put this on my D810, there'd be issues. The aperture failer would bind because there's no permission for it. Pulling the lens cap off, we have what appears to be 52mm filter thread on the front of the lens. I think I'll clean this lens up before I take off on the photo walk too. Plus, something I didn't know about this lens until just literally 10 minutes ago, it has a built-in lens hood, and I didn't even know it. This lens has been used very little. It looks brand new. So the inside felting on the inside of this lens, even though it's like a 1975 model lens, looks brand new. This one don't have ball detents like the 105, but it comes out and it sticks. It doesn't work loose. It's got something like a rubber O-ring or something putting pressure on it. Let's walk around town, let you see what Chickamauga looks like, and I'll get some photos along the way, and we'll just see what the lens can do. Focus on this lens is a little over half a revolution. The minimum focus on it came in at right at about, well, it goes just a smidge past 5 feet, so you can say 4 feet 8 inches or something is probably minimum focus distance. I got a picture of a gate latch at minimum focus distance at f8, so I could see what the background bokeh would look like at distance. My truck is that bright blurry speck because it's about, let's see, let me just show you. That gate is about 80 yards down there, okay? And then the truck is right here. So it's about 100 yards away, and dude, it completely erased the truck with the bokeh. The lens actually does really well. It doesn't do so hot at f2.8. It's kind of soft. Check this out. Pretty cool old cutlass. Here's the Elizabeth Lee United Methodist Church. They are on Facebook and YouTube. They're in the modern era, kind of like me. Let's get a portrait of the street preacher. All right, I grew up about 20 miles south of here in the town of Lafayette, and I've literally never explored Chickamauga past driving down the main road. Come out here and look at this gun. Typically these cannons were marked on the muzzle. Yeah, this one is, of the year of manufacture. This one's gun number 128. BH. We could look up and see who BH was, the founder was that made it. This one's smooth bore. I wonder if this one over here is marked. It's been drilled for sights. These are actually legit guns from the war. They turned them all into museum pieces after the fact. Because, you know, technology improved by leaps and bounds right after that. Yeah, this one saw service. The front of it's beat up. It's gun number 3. Let's see. Can't read this one. I always marked them on the muzzle. Anyway, get some photos. I think I'll get some detailed shots of these guns. Yeah, here's a pretty cool one. Oh, this is a Union gun. It's made in Boston. There we go. Here you go, see? Do y'all have these little stores where you live? It's just stuff. The set of chairs is pretty nice, actually. They probably clean up okay. For 20 bucks for a set of chairs for your dining room table. Well, a couple of them missing the top spindles, but I mean, you could get into them and fix them up. They look pretty good for someone just getting started. But I love these little variety stores, resale shops, wherever you call them, and I hate them at the same time. They're like the bane of my existence. I can spend hours just meandering through all this stuff, looking for something like an old vintage lens or something, and rarely do I ever find anything I want, if ever. But I can't help it. I'm addicted to them. I don't know. My dad used to love to go to the flea markets when he was alive, and he'd love to find stuff like that. He'd bring home stuff constantly. So I can't let one go by. Oh, look at this pond. I gotta get a photo of that from here. Maybe from this angle. Yeah, let's get a photo of the pond. This is the old train depot. Now it's like a information center, something like that. All the towns pretty much turn their old train depots into something like that, or or the Chamber of Commerce building or whatever. But yeah, now it's the Chickamauga Visitor Center. Turn my hat around right. Here's something of interest. If you ever wanted to own a commercial building in Chickamauga, it's for sale. you too can be the proud owner of a piece of commercial property on Main Street, nonetheless. Doesn't look like it's super hopping, just to be honest with you. I think the COVID's got everything throttled pretty hard. There's lots of buildings shuttered. They don't even have like stuff in the windows now. They're just gone. Chickamauga ain't a real big town. I've got some photos, some interesting stuff, got some detail shots. I haven't shot much at f2.8 because it does have a little bit of soft, like glow, is it coma or whatever it is. But yeah, it's not super, like, it loses contrast. I think that's what I would say. Yeah, the contrast just gets real thin. Everything gets real muddy at f2.8, but at f4, tightens right back up and it looks great. I've been shooting at f4 for a while now and everything just looks good. So that's kind of the price you pay with these little lenses, because you know this one probably wasn't 70, 80 bucks. It wasn't very expensive. So if you're willing to deal with that, you can get a smoking deal in a lens. I really want to get a shot of this slate roof on this house. Look at this. Here's an interesting concept. Let's see if I can get across the road without getting killed. Looks like I can make it if I just hurry. All right, here we go. Oh, gotta do the Casey thing. There. It's a box for what appears to be the homeless. They've just got some food in it so that the people that don't have nothing to eat. They've even got like grocery sacks so they can carry it with them. There's baby food. Look at this. There's some pretty good stuff in there. I looked up that date on that cornerstone for that building, and AL stands for after light. And the Masons believe that the time they start their date at 4000 BC because that's the completion of King Solomon's temple. And it's a Latin term, like AD is a Latin term for when Christ was here or whatever. And I don't know how to speak Latin, or I'd say them, but so their date code goes back 4,000 more years. So you just subtract 4,000 from the date and it tells you it was 1925. And apparently the Masons financed it because they got their markers like in the little roof work all the way around the top, and they've got the big cornerstone. All right, well, I'm back. Pretty good walk. The town isn't very big, but it's got a lot of interesting history. I got some cool photos and stuff. I ran it with the lens hood extended the whole time. Oh well, but there's been a big overcast cloud moving in front of the sun, so everything, I got my normal lens review conditions of overcast skies. Figures. But the lens actually performs really well. I cleaned the lens elements. When I got the lens, it was pretty filthy, but I cleaned it up real good with alcohol, and then I had some heavy dust land on the objective here. So I cleaned it up with a lens cloth before I started. But at f2.8, the contrast is kind of low, and it seems a little soft, which would give you that kind of dreamy portraiture. I'm pretty sure, you know, remember the glamour portraits of the 80s? That's neither here nor there. The lens stopped down f4 even. It tightens right up, and the sharpness, contrast comes back. And at f8, it looks beautiful. Well, of course, you know, you don't buy f2.8 glass this big and heavy to shoot it at f8 normally, but it actually worked really well. So, you know, if you need an intermediate length lens, this lens ain't really too bad. If you can get it for reasonable money, it's okay lens. And, you know, I wouldn't pay much more than, I probably wouldn't pay over a $100 bill for it, but especially since you can't put it on a Nikon DSLR. But if you was to be able to stick it on a mirrorless camera like this, or even something like my XT3, you could get good performance out of it, especially on the XT3, since it's only using the center portion of the glass, so you don't get any issues from the corners that you normally see on old lenses. So yeah, so with that, I appreciate you watching, and until next time, get your camera out, go make a picture with it. All right, we'll see you later. Bye bye.